Okay. Can you hear me talking into the microphone? Is everything okay with the sound? Time 10:26 in the morning. Yeah. All right. All right, there's like 4 other people on here now. Awesome. Can you hear me? If you can, just say okay or whatever, or so on and so forth. Oh, down to 3. Or 2. Hey, Myron. That's awesome. Yeah, so it's probably like in the evening there in Greece, I would imagine. Sometime like around 9 o'clock or something like that. Just off the top of my head. Okay, well, here we are. It's Thursday, and it's, May 20? Yes, you are correct. How are you doing with your job? I'm doing okay. Haven't flown much this month, but I'm going to Australia at the end of the month. I'm going to be flying down there, and then I got recurrent training, or they call it CQ now, continuing qualification. So, I have to be in San Francisco for a couple days at the end of the month as well to do CQ. Make sure that I'm all up to date on everything. So anyway, I'm not looking forward to being a prisoner in my hotel room in Australia, but it is what it is. Let's see here. There we go. A little bit higher. So how about you? How's your job over there in Greece? I know there's not a big lag because I can see in the thing here just a couple of seconds. Maybe it's taking a while to type. He's in Greece, so I would imagine that English is not your first language and Greek is not mine. Same as always, I miss flying though. Oh, okay. You mean flying to customers and stuff like that? Or like where you actually like, you know, worked in the industry? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Well, I think that's going to come back, though, isn't it? I mean, it's. I don't think it's gonna. It's totally ended. But yeah. But flying just ain't what it used to be. I mean, it was. I started flying a while ago, and it's changed a lot. And I guess passengers are getting kind of really weird on the airplane. So, anywho, I'm gonna post this up here. Yeah, there we go. On. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I know. Okay, so Hoyt de Monterey Epicure number 2 is what the cigar is today so far, and then depending on how things go, I might smoke another HVC edition Especial 2015. But yeah, it's going to take a while. But I mean, over here in the U.S., things are starting to open up, and things are. I think I'm in California here, and I think by June they're going to get rid of the mask mandates and stuff like that. So, but most everybody's getting vaccinated. I'm not broadcasting to Instagram. No, I'm not. I am not. Haven't worked that one out because I'm streaming to YouTube. I mean, I guess I could run a concurrent, right? You'd have to run a concurrent stream. You'd have to put your phone up and then stream that at the same time that you're doing this, because I don't think I can throw that into OBS. Although I can look it up and see. That'd be kind of interesting to see. I just figured I'd throw an Instagram picture out there. Looks like it's just you and me, Myron. So, yeah, I know I normally say any recent Cuban purchase. Nope. Not really. Haven't really purchased anything. Cuban. Bunch of New World stuff. And, but not a lot. I mean, I've got enough cigars in my humidor now to kind of carry me through for the next few months. So, I'm just going to take it easy. I did get some Centrofinos, and that I did get some Centrofinos, and those were, well, when I opened up the tin, it was like like a barnyard in there. So I've been kind of letting them air out and just to let them kind of settle a bit. But Vigueros is a great underrated cigar. I mean, it's awesome. I love Vigueros. The new blend, absolutely. And this one right here, for being such a young cigar as it is, this thing's great. I love smoking this. Now the bands are coming right off, so probably fake. That's probably why I like it so much. Yeah, the Mananitas are good. I mean, the Tapados, is it Tapado? Let me see. There's Tapados, Mananitas, and Entretiempos. Yeah, those are the ones. The ones that are like kind of like the half Robusto or whatever it is. Those ones I like the best out of the Vigueros. The Mananitas aren't bad, but I mean all of them are good. I mean, I don't have a problem with the new Vigueros at all. I really don't. I just and I'm hoping that the Centrofino, because the Centrofinos are like a Robusto, but they're quite pricey considering what they are. But we'll see how those go. But I mean, that's like a regular size cigar. Now, so are you in Athens, like Athens, Greece, or are you outside of Athens? Are you like on one of the islands, or where are you at over there in Greece? Why do you say unfortunately? Because it's just such a big city and it's crowded and a lot of people and all that kind of stuff. Because I've heard that like people, you kind of go to Athens and then you like get out of Athens and go to the islands and stuff like that. So I mean, according to maybe your statement, that's pretty true. Where you just want to kind of go to Athens and see the Acropolis and some other things, and then split and get out to the islands. Yeah, it's definitely yeah. I mean, I lived in Manhattan for a number of years, and I mean, I've never been to Athens, so I wouldn't know what that's like and everything like that. So I know we fly over to Athens, but I never managed to do a trip over there. So, but Manhattan's pretty busy too. I mean, that's just like wall to wall city. Yeah, Hoyt Monterey Epicure number 2. This cigar is like it said in the review. I mean, I did this review, probably I released it 2 weeks ago on this cigar, and I mean the ash, the construction on this thing, the flavor. I mean, this has been for being a year old. Like, it's getting close to being a year old now, and so it's really young. It's funny because one of the viewers in Italy, Enrico, he commented and said it's too young, which he smokes a lot of vintage stuff and a lot more aged stuff and everything like that. And I would tend to agree that it's a pretty young cigar, but in the greater scheme of things, also, this cigar is smoking quite well for being such a young cigar. And I've had a lot of people. I mean, I've smoked a lot of young Cuban cigars that have tasted like not that good, and this one here, it's like it's enjoyable for me. And even though it's so young, I'm still find myself opening up the box or the cabinet and pulling one out like I did today to smoke it because I'm enjoying this cigar. Now maybe it's because I'm smoking a lot of non-Cuban stuff lately, and this kind of, I don't know. I don't think so though. I really don't. I just like the way the cigar smokes, and I like the flavor of the cigar. Yeah. It's not too much. But I mean, what I said in the video too, as well, is with Hoyt Monterey, I just think that it hits a lot of notes for a lot of people. It's one of those kind of cigars or one of those brands, marcas, whatever you want to call it. It hits a lot of notes for a lot of people, and it's hitting some good notes for me right now. So, hats off to the Cubans and that marca. What fascinates me is how Chubba Majestic, yeah. What surprises me is that they're using tobacco that they kind of bunch together in all of these various distribution areas where like they ferment it and everything like that. James Suckling does a nice video on the Cuban tobacco and everything like that, like, you know, from the farm to the kind of distribution centers, let's just say, and then to the factory. And so they just get all of this tobacco, and they kind of bring it into an area, and then they kind of sort it, and then they kind of age it, and then they kind of roll it up in cigars, and then it all kind of tastes different, which it fascinates me. Yeah, Palmas Extra, that's a lot smaller ring gauge cigar. Yeah, I don't think of Hoyt Monterey being like a stronger cigar. You know, and a smaller ring gauge cigar to me, I think, would have better, or be, I mean, I've always said that the smaller ring gauge cigars tend for me to be a bit stronger. But yeah, I mean, let me see here. And the Vigueros aren't super strong and girthy either, but they have a lot of flavor to them, which is nice. And this cigar too, I mean, it's not like it's going to really be uber strong, but it has a lot of flavor to it, which is good. So the intensity of flavor is there, and it's nice, but it's not a cigar that's going to, strength-wise, is going to really, in the sense of nicotine and all of that, is going to really kind of grab you be as off-putting as some of the other ones. Let's just go with that. But cigars are something where it's so diverse in what people enjoy and what they like and everything like that. So, but anyway, getting back to it just fascinates me as to how they can put all of this tobacco in one spot and then disperse it out to the factories, and then it kind of tastes different, or it has a flavor profile in there. And I've talked with people, and they've talked about platooning tobacco, and I've read articles from the late 1800s, early 1900s, and I'm talking early, like around the turn of the century, where they talk about the Cubans platooning their tobacco. And I've also seen a video of recent times where these tourists went into Cuba, and the guy, what was it, honey, lemon, and might have been rum, but I know there was I think honey and lemon in the water that he was spraying onto the tobacco when he was rolling it up into cigar form and everything like that. And so, I mean, that's platooning right there. And I would think that if you platoon something, you're going to give it a certain flavor or whatever, and it's going to imbibe that into the cigar. I don't know. I mean, it just seems logical to me that it would do that. And I don't know, maybe in Cuba that's part of the process, and that's why that Cuban black tobacco can taste so different with the various marcas. They have a definite profile and everything like that because of the platooning. But I don't know. Yeah, okay, so yeah, normally I'll just drink like a Coke, or I'll drink water. I would say port wine would be a good one. Champagne, another one. When you start getting into heavier alcohols like whiskeys, some of the rums out there that can be really extremely super strong, that would have a tendency to not this is my personal opinion, it doesn't really complement a cigar, to be quite honest. Like a scotch or whatever, really heavy whiskeys they just doesn't complement it. So you want to go a little bit lighter. You want to go with like a port wine or a champagne, which would help with that. Now, I'm not saying not to drink bourbon or scotch or whatever with a cigar, and if you enjoy that, then go for it. But for me personally, it would be more on the lighter side. There you go, Guinness beer. Yeah, and that would probably be more of a complimenting thing as opposed to oh God, what's the word that I'm looking for? You got complement, which they're kind of together, and then you have the different, which kind of like one might be a one, and then the other, and they kind of like, they're like a yin and yang. I forget what that's called. Anyway, yeah, that would probably be good for like a richer cigar. Like actually, that probably would have gone good with the last cigar that I just did, the second to last, which is the Oro Oscuro, Opus X Oro Oscuro from Fuente. That a Guinness beer probably would have been great. Yeah, so like now rum like Diplomatico rum. Yeah, Ron Zacapa System Solar 23, which is kind of a sweeter rum. There's Pirate rum. But when you start getting into some of the rums, like Foursquare rum has like oh God, I forget what Foursquare actually does a rum where it's actually like over 100 proof, and it's more like a whiskey as opposed to like that kind of a sweeter kind of a flavor that you get with some of the other rums on there. now you're talking about that's more like on the bourbon, Scotch, whiskey kind of side for rum. So you got to be careful with rum. Like Diplomaticos makes the three. You have the regular Diplomaticos with the green label, then you have the Diplomaticos with the orange label, and then you have the Diplomaticos with that really nice kind of a wire hasp over it, and then you have another higher end Diplomaticos as well. And all those are would I think be fairly complimentary as well on there as far as it goes for rum. But like I said, if you start getting into like the heavier alcohol rums, I don't think that it would be as complimentary on there. Now, I'm not saying not to drink it and smoke your cigar in different strokes for different folks, but when you start getting into like stuff that's heavier like that, it's not so complimentary, I think. Have we talked about that? I don't think so. Yeah, so Paul, I mean, like when you drink say, some type of an alcoholic beverage with, so you're saying like a Guinness, yeah, because to me that makes sense on that. It would be a lot more complimentary. Anything else other than like a Guinness beer? Because like I've always said, and Minron, he actually talks, you know, when I was there in Hong Kong, when I was talking with him, he likes to drink champagne, a lot of champagne with it, and I'm on the port side. Cherry cat, so yeah. Hey, what's going on, Chad? We're talking about pairing alcohol with cigars. Yeah, but you're still going to have that really that heavy alcohol in there, though. I mean, that's kind of like, I think, what really will I don't know, maybe deaden the palate or whatever you want to say with it on the palate and everything like that. I mean, but it's all subjective. Like I said, I mean, to me, I'd much rather just kind of drink a Coke or just brush that alkaline off the palate a little bit, throw a little water in there. I do that. So let me see here. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, what about A.H. Rice? When I was in Koblenz, over there at, the Pipe House Koblenz in Germany, the owner there, he's a rum whore as well. And he was saying something about A.H. Rice being a pretty good rum. Haven't really experienced A.H. Rice. Mostly, like I said, the, Pirate, Diplomaticos, Ron Zacapa, those rums. And the Diplomatico, it's got that spiciness to it. The Ron Zacapa is kind of, I think, has more of a sweeter. The Pirate, I mean, and the thing is that rum, it's kind of an island thing, though. The alcohol content is up there, but it just, I don't know, with the sweetness and that, I don't know. But personally, I think something that's more acidic, like a champagne or a port, if you're trying to do something with that, that to me is going to balance out the palate. Kind of like drinking a Coke, but you're going to catch a little buzz with that. But in the end, it all comes down to what you're going to enjoy for yourself. So, and I don't think, you know, even though you have a lot of people out there that are experts and you know, they're paid to formulate decisions on what you're going to drink and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, a martini. Now, do you wave the vermouth over that or not? So, but at the end of the day, I mean, so like, there's a really famous restaurant out here in California, in the Napa Valley or whatever, up north, called French Laundry. So he opened up a restaurant in Beverly Hills called Bouchon, I believe. And so I don't think Bouchon's there anymore. But my girlfriend had these friends that are really into like the finer things in life and all this other kind of stuff. And so there's like they did this Sunday night chicken dinner at Bouchon, right? And it was like all the, you know, it was just like this incredibly fantastic, supposedly, dinner, right? Which costed like, you know, hundreds of dollars for fried chicken, right? Fried chicken and the sides or whatever that went in there. So we went, you know, hung out with her friends and stuff like that, and it was, the company was great, and the conversation was great, and the food was like meh. I mean, the food was just like, it was okay. I mean, I couldn't justify spending a few $100s for a chicken dinner, right? I mean, I just couldn't justify that. It was like the king had no clothes on, and nobody disagreed that the king didn't have clothes on, right? But for me personally, the king was naked. And I think that sometimes that people put too much trust in someone that they think is an expert, and they kind of go by that whole, whatever they say is what they do, and so on and so forth. And personally, I think it's great that we have people out there that are willing to put their opinion on the line and say a bunch of stuff about things and so on and so forth, and do that. But at the end of the day, I think that you should just use all that stuff as a point of reference to determine what you enjoy in your life and what makes you happy, and not necessarily listen to what this person says and take that as the gospel truth. That's been my whole thing in life, period, is that, you know, I'm willing to try and do a lot of things out there, and so and in order to, I guess, broaden my spectrum of life, right, to broaden my spectrum in my mind and in my body and everything like that. So I'm willing to go out and do and try a lot of things, but it just gives me a point of reference to, like, where, like, something down the road comes up that I've already tried that I don't like, I can say with certainty that, hey, I don't really like that too much, right? What really chaps my ass is that people will comment on this channel and other channels too, and they haven't even tried it. They haven't even done whatever it is that they're bashing on YouTube or Twitter or whatever the heck it is, and they're going out there and claiming to be an expert under the guise of anonymity. And it's like, right, okay, whatever. Because, like, I will put a vintage cigar underwater, okay? And that's what I do. When I get a vintage cigar, I'll put it underwater because the wrapper it's fragile at that point in time, because we're talking 25 years on up of age on a vintage cigar. And so when you wet a cigar underwater and you put it underwater for like a 5 count and then you pull it out, make sure you keep the foot down, it tends to be a better smoking experience on the cigar. And I've had countless people say that's the dumb. Like, I just had a guy, what's this guy's name? This guy, Nick Parker. Officially dumbest video I've ever come across on YouTube, which he's talking about me putting a cigar underwater, right? Okay, Nick, can you explain that a little bit more to me? Can you expound on that? Because I don't know what you mean by dumb or anything like that, but it's obviously a dumb thing to you. I would love it if people, if they, I don't care about people making negative comments. What I care about is you do a one-word answer, and then I'll answer back. That's why I stopped answering this stuff, because I'll answer back, and then it'll get crickets. So, anyway, I know I've kind of gone on a rant there, but it's just my own personal opinion on experts. It's that, yeah, there are experts out there, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what you like. If you like chewing bubble gum and drinking fruit punch and mixing that with bourbon and smoking a cigar, and that tastes great to you, then all right, no problem. So at the end of the day, but I know what I tend to enjoy when smoking a cigar. And it doesn't mean that I haven't drank bourbon or scotch or whatever and smoked a cigar. It doesn't mean that at all. It's not that at all. It's just that I don't prefer to do that. If I'm with people and that's what the drink of choice is, and we're just sitting there BSing and smoking or whatever it is what it is. So, anywho. There you go. So anyway, it does work. And the thing is, though, is that there's been other people out there that have done it, and they say, wow, it works. It tends to help with things. So anyway, I just don't like these kind of one-line answers or one-line comments. Just so ridiculous for people. So anyway, so did you guys watch the new, I know maybe you guys aren't really that keen on New World cigars, but actually that the Oro Oscuro Opus X, that one was actually a really good cigar, actually. The Fuente Oro Oscuro. It was actually that was the box of them right there. That was actually a really good cigar, and it was and as you guys know, I mean, I do New World and Cuban cigars, and for me, that cigar kind of checked off a lot of boxes. It had great flavor, it had great transitions, it had great balance. It was great smoke production, and other than the really kind of New World bit of pepper at the beginning of the cigar that was in there that really tamped back fairly quickly, other than that, which was a bit off-putting, it was not one of those New World cigars where it was like super girthy on the nose or in the palate and just like really rough. It was actually a smooth, down, balanced, nice cigar. I mean, the price point on this cigars, I think I paid $17 for that cigar, which, I mean, some of the Cuban regional releases out there, God, man, you're talking $20 bucks for a Cuban regional release cigar, or limitadas and so on and so forth, you're talking. And some of these other regular Cuban cigars, you're talking about the same price for for that price on that cigar, it was a good. There it is. There's the box right there. Look at that saying, $19.99. It was $20. What was the other one? Anyway, I can't remember. Maybe it was $20. I think it was. Let me see. I got the receipt right here. No, the Fuente was $18. And the Robusto was $20. And actually, I've smoked both now. And I can say that the Fuente was the better of the two. The Robusto was actually more like, it tasted more like an Opus, like a regular line Opus, as opposed to the Fuente. Now, that probably was my brain saying that or whatever. I don't know. I have no clue. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of a big deal. I mean, most of the world doesn't smoke non-Cuban cigars. Usually in the U.S., because of the embargo and everything like that, people smoke a lot of non-Cuban stuff, and the non-Cuban market here is like just crazy. I think they're starting to, like in parts of Europe. I believe in a buddy of mine was in Holland, and he said that there was a place in Amsterdam that it was called Nicaragua or something like that, that only sold non-Cuban cigars there, no Cuban cigars whatsoever in Amsterdam. So it's starting to, and what Great Britain is, there's a lot there. I think Mitchell Orchant just released some type of an Oliva Mitchell Orchant or whatever it is. He's done Davidoff stuff. He's done the Inca, which is kind of a Peruvian smoke. He's done a lot of things there. So it's kind of catching on in Europe. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, and that one actually, there was like, it was just that, I mean, the wrapper and everything like that. It was just a beautiful cigar. And I know that people can tend to, when they rate a cigar and everything like that, they kind of add that factor in there, which I don't really tend to do that, because to me personally, a cigar can look terrible but smoke great and taste great, and why would you discount the looks of a cigar when you have the flavor and the taste and everything like that? Now, the only way that might make me think differently on that, okay, that make me is if it looks bad and it may say it tastes good, but I have to touch it up, or it's got runs, or it goes out, or whatever, or it doesn't, there's not a lot of smoke production, then definitely I'm going to ding that cigar for that, because it doesn't lend to me having a good smoking experience. But if it just looks bad but the smoking experience is good, then why should I ding a cigar because it looks bad? But this one, man, just a nice cigar. I'm really happy with these cigars. Absolutely. Yeah, when I was in Germany at the Pipe House Koblenz, they had a whole section, which, I mean, that town has 100,000 people, and they have an LCDH there, which is like, wow, an LCDH in a town of 100,000 people. And they had it's kind of a 3-story, actually I think there's 4 stories, but the third story is where the casa is on there. And so you have the bottom where they sell the pipes and the rums and all that kind of, and all the accessories and stuff. And then the next floor, they have like everything mixed in there. They have non-Cuban and Cuban cigars all mixed together. And then on the third floor, they have a tiny little humidor that's just the LCDH stuff in there. And then they have the lounge off of that, and it's a great setup. if you ever have a chance to go to Koblenz and go to the Pipe House Koblenz, I say go for it because it's a really nice, quaint experience there. Now, they don't stay open late there, though. They close around 6 o'clock, so you got to get your smoking in during the day, and then they're out of there. And then I think it's either Tuesday or Thursday, so many times a month, they'll have like where they stay open till like 9:30. But most of the time, I think they close around 6. And then there's I think it's in Dusseldorf, Cigar World, I believe, is in Dusseldorf. I'm not sure. But that was a really great place, too. They have, like, outdoor, indoor, and then their humidor is massive. And it's all Cuban cigars there. So, anyway. I like Germany. Let me see here. Higher end cigars like Opus and Cohiba, don't you think that for the price they demand, the cigars should look the part too? Well, I mean, that's what they do, right? I mean, and that's part of it. I mean, that's what they're going to do as far as the price and everything like that goes and so on and so forth. But I've smoked some Opus where it hasn't looked all that good, but it's been a great smoking experience. And at the end of the day, you're, okay, I had a guy, we were at a cigar shop. I forget where I was at, but the guy goes, do you know where 90% of the flavor comes from on a cigar? And I go, I don't know. And he goes, and I just had to laugh because, anyway, the band, right? That's where people can have a tendency to like place their trust is in the band and so on and so forth. So you're right, and to a certain extent, Cohiba has their marketing and their stuff that they put on their cigar. Opus, I mean, those huge, beautiful bands on there and everything like that. So yeah, the looks of the cigar, but to me personally, no. I mean, it's not, and I get why they do it, because when people are paying that kind of money for something, you want it to look good, right? I mean, you can have, I mean, it's with anything in life, I guess, like with a car, right, or a house, or anything like that. You're gonna, want things to look better. So I get that, but at the end of the day, I don't think the look, if the wrapper is blotchy or whatever, and it's kind of imperfect, at the end of the day, does it really affect that? It might in your mind. I don't know. That's just me. I'm just a knucklehead with an opinion. So, but I get what you mean by that whole higher price and make it look good, right? Because if you're going to buy a Toyota and you're going to pay so much, or a Ferrari, you don't want the Ferrari to look like a Toyota, do you? Although I've seen some of those high-end cars that look kind of like the lower-end cars. It's like weird. Or maybe they make the lower-end cars look like the higher-end cars. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But with the, I would suggest if you can find those Oro Oscuros, the Fuente, that's a good stick. Definitely. Now the Angel Share, that one was interesting because that was like Fuente's foray into Nicaraguan tobaccos, and then they used an Ecuadorian wrapper from the Oliva people on that cigar, and so but that one, god dang, man, that was like smoking a cigarette. I mean, there was a lot of nicotine in that cigar, and I think that those cigars actually have some aging potential to them. And guess because of the nicotine in there, and then my palate was just so dry. I must have drank like, for that small cigar, I mean, that cigar was only that big, I probably drank like 2 glasses of water with that cigar. I smoked a ton of Anejos. You can't tell me that cigar looks good. I mean, that is just like a rough, it looks like a turd. I mean, they're so dark. I mean, that is just like your definition of Maduro. So you would probably like the Oro Oscuro, because that's their Maduro Opus X is what the Oro Oscuro is, Manuel. You'd probably prefer that over the regular Opus. And the Anejo, I mean, yeah, I've smoked a ton of those. A ton. But those can be expensive too. I mean, those aren't cheap. And not only that, on the secondary market, you can like say a Shark, right? A Anejo Shark. And you can, I mean, I think they're supposed to MSRP for like, I don't know, 10 or 12 bucks a stick, but good luck finding them for that out there in a cigar shop. You're not going to pay that much. You're going to pay maybe 20 for that stick. Yeah. That's an extremely sweet cigar. I mean, to me, it's yeah. But I like a sweeter cigar. I don't like, and that's, I mentioned in the Rare Pink video too, how those cigars are not like your regular sweeter Fuente cigar. It's more on the earthy spectrum. See, there you go. That's taxes, right? I mean, those taxes are insane. And I did mention the fact, I know there's a lot of guys out there that love Padron, right? They're just Padron fans, right? I get that. But to me, Padron is more on the earthy spectrum. It's got that kind of a dark, it's like on that's end of the spectrum, as opposed to Fuente would be more on this side of the spectrum. And then Padron is on this side of the spectrum, where it's like a darker, rich kind of a cigar, but it kind of lacks all that sweetness that the Fuente has. Yeah, see, there you go. Although, like, I picked up a few boxes of Sharks back in the day, and they were a lot cheaper than that. I got lucky. I picked them up for like $10 a stick, I think, or something like that. But yeah, to your point, they're not cheap, because they only come out twice a year. So it's yeah. And the Fuentes are, I think, masters of marketing. I think what they do with their marketing is awesome. And another thing too is the causes that they support too. They support a lot of causes in the Dominican Republic. The Rare Pink, $13 from every box sold, goes to breast cancer. The little boxes that Keith Park sells, and he does Prometheus, and he does the God of Fire cigars. That all goes to the charitable foundation. So they do a lot of good stuff. Wow. Yeah, it's supposed to, most of everywhere outside of the U.S. is Cuban. I'm not saying that you can't find non-Cuban cigars, but I mean, the U.S. is definitely the market for non-Cuban cigars. I mean, I would hate to think what would happen to all that stuff if they actually made Cubans totally legal to sell in the U.S., because what would that do to the non-Cuban market? I don't know. Okay, Manuel, here's the thing. How hard is it to get Cubans in the DR? I'm pretty sure it's not that easy to get Cuban cigars in the DR. I think you can find them, but there's a lot of fakes there. But they want you to buy all of the stuff that they do in the DR. I mean, am I off or am I wrong? I haven't been down to the DR in a while. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard, yeah. Now, I've heard rumors about, I think, I read something where they were shooting a movie or something like that, and they were doing it in this house, and they actually had a guy there that he was just in charge of making sure the humidor was perfect, and there was a bunch of Cuban cigars in there. Dominican Republic is the DR. And so what they did, they had to make smoke for one of the scenes in the house. And they were smoking Cuban cigars to make smoke for the movie scene in the house. I read that somewhere, which is just totally cracked me up. But yeah, it's pretty hard. it's pretty hard to, um, I think, find legit Cubans in Dominican Republic, or DR is what they say. Or actually, it used to be called Hispaniola back in the day. Like what, right? In the late 1400s, early 1500s, it was called Hispaniola. Yeah, that island's pretty trippy because you have the Dominican Republic on one side and then you have Haiti on the other side. And it's two completely different animals. Two completely... I would imagine they're cheaper than with all the taxes and stuff like that. Yeah, you know, I haven't purchased any Fuentes and non-Cuban cigars down there, Manuel. They're a lot cheaper, right, than like being in the U.S., right? So that shark that you said was $24 US, you could probably pick it up there for, 10 or less, I would imagine, something there. And the rare stuff, I mean, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And Costa Rica's another spot that's hard to find Cuban cigars. Okay, there we go. So that's definitely cheaper. Because once you start getting into the rare stuff like the Opus, the Anejo, and everything like that, the cigar shops just hear that it's like, oh, well, it's rare. And we only get so much. That's why I like going to High Times because Sean... In High Times, they're really good about it. So, like, the prices on those cigars were not that much over MSRP. And it's what's really nice about them there is that they just, if they get it, they sell it. And they don't hoard it. They don't jack up the price, double or triple the price on the stuff just because they have it or whatever it is. And they just sell it. That's what I like about High Times sellers. They're really good about that. And the people there too, Michelle, Tim, Sean's, they're all great people, and they all, they're friendly, they take care of you, they're just awesome there. Yeah, they just had, I think they just had that, right? And that's like the early part of the year, the Pro Cigar. And that's kind of like in direct competition to the Habanos Festival, right? Hey, Chris, what's up, man? Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I definitely want to do eventually down there is go down there and do that. Same thing with Nicaragua. I'd actually like to go on the farm and look at all that process too, and like just really kind of delve into it a bit more than just... Right now it's a Hoyo Epicure number 2. It's one I'm smoking. The ones that I reviewed. Another one. I find myself reaching in that box every now and then instead of letting them sit. Yeah. Yeah, I figured it's Thursday. I come out here and chat with people. We got Myron from Greece. Stinky Pinky. Now that is a good... That's a good name right there, man. Oh. Stinky Pinky. Did the Stinky Pinky make a Dirty Sanchez? That's what I want to know. Yeah, so, well, you got my rant on experts. That was earlier. And so, anyway. Yeah. I know, I haven't been out of the DR. I used to do a lot of trips to the DR, but I'd be in Santo Domingo and it'd be a short period of time. I'd be down there. I'd be there for like maybe 24 hours at the most. And normally we get there like 8 o'clock at night, and then we got to leave the next day. So I'm on a bus like at 5 in the afternoon heading to the airport. So it was just like it didn't work out where I could actually see anything or do anything like that. I just had to basically stay in Santo Domingo. And yeah. And then what's the other, Barranquilla or yeah, they're the little 8 ounce. And I mean, I just do little sips every now and then because like I was opening up. Yeah, I don't, I'd open up like a 12-ounce can or 16-ounce bottle of Coke, and then I'd throw it away. So this one here, at least it's 8 ounces, and if it's a big cigar or whatever it is, or like where I'm smoking a couple of cigars, I'll probably drink this whole thing. So the 8-ounce can works out pretty good, because you want just a little bit. Yeah, Paul, to your point, I think that maybe that's kind of what's going on with what they're doing. Is there, who wants to take a box of cigars and put them away for, 2 to 5 years so that they kind of wick everything out and so on and so forth. They want to, people are very, what is it? They just want to do it now. They don't want to wait. Yeah, so I'm with you. That they definitely, there's something going on. I don't know what. I don't know. Although, now I just, like I said, I just opened up that tin of Centrofinos, and those had a lot of barnyard to them. And those seem to me like you have to set them down. And I've smoked a couple out of the tin so far. The first one was really hard to get through. The second one's got a little bit better, and I'm just thinking that that's possibly just because it's more old school. That's my own personal opinion on that thing. And the ash was like super dark too. It wasn't white like this. It was super, super dark, like black. There's a black ash on there. So I think that those are definitely, they need to be aged. Well, to me, that barnyard is good. The barnyard is good. Yeah, they don't tell you anything there. I mean, they're not going to tell you. And that's part of the whole mystique, I guess, or whatever, with everything. And it's just going to be that way to the end of time. Just because you have what they do, and they're not gonna tell you what they're doing or anything like that. It's kind of a secret, kind of hush hush. And then some of the non-Cuban people, like they're hush hush about that, and people kind of frown on it. But at the end of the day, they're doing it, and whether you like it or not, that's the way they decide to do it, and it is what it is. I think the Cubans gotten a lot better on their marketing, and I think that moving forward, doing that, I think it's better. Yep. I think Vigueros is going to be one of those cigars that, you know, all the people that are into this part of the smoking experience are going to ignore, and the people that are into this part of the smoking experience without the ban are going to enjoy. And I think that's a definite winner with that cigar, because they redid the blend, they redid everything on that thing, and they really, I think they just nailed it, personally, with the Vigueros. But that's just my own personal opinion. But my thing too, though, is because with non-Cuban cigars, they're, you know, that their whole thing is that they're ready to smoke now and everything like that. And what's the aging potential going to be on a cigar that is kind of ready to smoke now? And I think that you're running into that when you age non-Cuban cigars. There's like a definite. I've spoken on this before, where Dion Giolito talks about how, you know, his cigars between 3 and 9 years are like the sweet spot, and then after that they kind of drop off and they become less and less. And I'm thinking that if they start making these Cuban cigars like that, that the aging thing is not going to be as critical with these cigars. I don't think that, I mean, that's my own personal opinion on that, is that aging is, you know, you're not going to get your 20, 25, 30, 40, 50-year-old cigars that are going to have that in there. But only time's going to tell with that. I mean, we're still in that, I think, that stage where they're new. So nobody has, I mean, it's going to take time. It's going to take years before we really know what's going to happen with that. I mean, I think that, though, that with the Cuban Davidoffs, that we're seeing what that does. You know, in the Cuban Davidoffs, all the ones that I smoke, I mean, they're past it to me personally. I know it's kind of a cachet to smoke a Cuban Davidoff and everything like that, but I think that they're pretty much past it, and I believe, I don't know, that that's kind of the way they were made, more like this as opposed to the old style. But hey, well, the tobacco is definitely different too. I mean, you had where they went to Habano 2000, and then I don't know, I think they have a 2012 or 2014 seed now, or whatever it is that I read on that. So yeah, they're doing that, and but I also think, though, it might be with the fermentation process too as well. They might be doing something a little bit different in there as well with that, on top of the newer tobacco, that I believe that they can grow a little bit more of in areas that they hadn't necessarily been able to grow tobacco before, but now they can because of the new seed, is what rumor has it. So you have all those factors combined in there that do that. Well, yeah, they've been doing, yeah, let me see here. I want to say Habano 2012. I read an article on here. Probably not going to do it. I don't know. I have to look that up again. Yeah, I've heard Nicaraguan too. Yeah, Nicaraguan is kind of hard to tell or discern between the two at times. But yeah, I'm gonna research that a little bit more. But I'm almost positive that they've gotten up to like double digits, like 2012 or Habano 2010. They've gone past the Habano 2000, and they changed the seed at the turn of the century. They did that, and that's why a lot of people are like the 2005 Reserva Partagas, or the 2005 Reserva Partagas, which had the 5-year-old tobacco, which is the original 2000 crop, and the Limitada 2000s that used that older tobacco, the Criollo 98 and the Corojo 99, I believe, is what they were doing. And I've also heard too, on top of that, is the fact that they're actually letting the farmers use that old seed to grow tobacco again as well. I've heard that, rumor has it. But like you said, Paul, I mean, they don't talk about that kind of stuff. They just don't. It's kind of a secret, shrouded in mystery. Yeah, so the vintage stuff that he sends me to smoke, like what, the 1492, well, all the stuff that's like over 25 years old, I'll put it at 70% relative humidity for a month, and then I'll smoke it. And as far as dry boxing goes, I won't dry box those. I have dry boxed other cigars that I think are a bit wet. Like, actually, these ones, this one's a little spongy, although I've had it in my humidor here. When I originally picked these up from, what is it? Some online tobacco retailer, let's just say that. They came and they were a bit spongy, so I've been, have them in a humidor at 65%, and the humidity's kind of gone down, although these are still a little bit tough to smoke. So I dry box stuff like this, but the old vintage stuff, I'll put it relative humidity at 70% for a month, and then I'll smoke it. And that's another thing, is the RH. When you have a higher RH like that, you have a tendency to get more flavor, I think, from a cigar. And if on a younger cigar, it's not so good, because you're going to get a lot of the not so good flavors that are going to come out and come through on that. And so, but that's what I do with the older stuff. And it tends to be a better smoking experience, absolutely. And yes, it was recommended by Minron to do it that way. And so I've done it. I've done it both ways, and actually, maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me or whatever it is, but I tend to agree with that, with the older stuff. So, yeah. And what is it? I think the average relative humidity in Cuba for 12 months is 70%. I think that's what the average RH there is, I believe. So that's where that number kind of came about, was the fact that the average RH throughout the entire year in Cuba is about 70%. So you're looking at what the blenders were using at the time that they blended that cigar. They're smoking it in an environment that's around 70% RH. The tobacco is kept in an environment that's around 70% RH. It's rolled in an environment that's around that 70% RH, and so it kind of gets you to that spot where they were when they rolled it, for the flavors and so on and so forth. So take that for what it's worth. Yes, not for young cigars. Young cigars, or even aged cigars, you want to maybe smoke them at 65%, somewhere around there. That would be, I think, better. But once you start getting up into the vintage category, to me, vintage is like 25 years on up. You're going to want to get that thing at 70% and then give it a water dunk and smoke it. That's my own personal opinion, and take that for what it's worth. How's it going back in New Jersey, Chris? Any wind lately, or has it just been kind of? I think it's been raining back there a little bit. I think it's kind of let up though now. Yep, that's me, just a knucklehead. I thought you were in New Jersey. You said New York? Yeah. But okay. But you okay. But you were out last time I saw you. You were barbecuing, and you almost got blown away, and a tree broke and fell in front of you, or something like that. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we were talking with, I believe, Paul and Mike. And Mike was giving you barbecue tips. Yeah, it's probably good grilling weather then, I would imagine, right now. Yeah, May's good too because it's not super humid. Yeah. Yeah, there's another group that I got invited to where they did, I think they do like a regular Thursday or Friday night. From the UK, they do um, a Zoom. What group is that? It is Cigar Lounge UK. Yeah, they got 4,500 members over there, and they do a. They've been doing for a while. Oh, it's Tuesday. And they have a bunch of guests on there, which is really cool. I mean, they have what... Anyway, Cigar Lounge UK. And I guess they do it every Tuesday is when they do it. It's been pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's Thursday, so I don't think Paul... I think he's working. Mike, I think, is on vacation. But if you guys have a chance, yeah, Cigar Lounge UK. Yeah. Yeah, that was That was quite the, yeah, quite the show that you had on your end there. I mean, watching you fighting the wind and the barbecue and the kid and all that kind of stuff was kind of funny. It was very, very entertaining on your end, definitely. Yeah, it was fun. That definitely was fun. Yeah, I can't wait to start going out and be able to travel and go to some lounges and stuff like that when I travel. That's kind of nice. It'll be nice to be able to go to Australia and actually go to a lounge, which, I would like to be able to do that. Oh, Myron, yeah, he just contacted me, and we started communicating through email and talking, and then that's basically how we communicated. He contacted me. It's not like I even tried to contact him. He contacted me, and I mean, I've been a big fan of his with the book and everything like that, and I really enjoyed the information that he disseminated out there. So I tried to model my channel after that, of documenting stuff. So yeah, he just contacted me, and then we just started talking and everything like that, and then I mentioned the fact that I'd be able to come out there, and it ended up happening, and we worked it out, and I was able to go out there. And so once things get back to semi-normal, or whatever we want to call it, I'm hoping that I can make it back there again and talk to him and do some more video and delve into that humidor of his and all that kind of stuff, and eat good food and have great conversation. The guy is he's very funny, man. I mean, he's got a great sense of humor, and yeah, I love talking to him. So, and it's not just about cigars, it's just about everything in general. So it's always fun talking to him. That's how I met him. He contacted me. You never know what's going to happen on the internet. You never know. That would be what I would like to do. I mean, there was some stuff in there, and I took pictures of it and posted it on Instagram, and I don't think people really understood what it was, because you really can't show in a picture or, a caption what's going on. But he had these cigars that were vacuum sealed in tins from like the 1940s, and when you opened them up, the cello was completely clear, and these cigars smoked really fresh. And then as you let them age in the tin, which is the ones I was smoking, the cello got really dark brown, and the tobacco and the cigars didn't smoke as fresh, of course. But there was stuff like that in there that it'd be nice to be able to video it. And now with the phones that have these 4K cameras on it, 4K video, it's great, because then now all I need to do is just get some type of portable lighting and then do it in there. Because I was doing it on a Handycam in 1080p, a lot of that stuff, and it wasn't good. The lighting and everything like that wasn't good, and I wasn't able to. So I think moving forward with 4K on the phone and all that stuff, it'd be great. I think it's going to be awesome. So yeah, he's got these plastic bins full of like a bunch of singles and stuff for just amazing stuff. Like, I believe the Partagas 150, just all kinds of stuff. The Cohiba Anniversarios, the Bolivars from the book, just all kinds of stuff in there. It's kind of like Christmas, opening that kind of stuff up. So I didn't put the music in the last two. I just did the videos with the Fuente stuff. I mean, has anybody got an opinion on that? Like the music in the background, does it make it a better experience or not? Or because it's a lot easier for me not to put music in there, that's for sure, and just do the video without music in it. But I don't know. Well, the Holy Trinity cigars were definitely standout cigars in there. I enjoyed those a lot. And they all have different personalities, I guess, so to speak. The I think the Limitada 2000 Partagas, that one was a really good one too as well. I think as far as history goes and everything like that, that Fonseca from, it was like 100 years old that I documented, that was like a really cool cigar. It didn't really smoke that well. It was pretty much past it. It was definitely past it, but it was really nice history documenting that and the way that cigar looked. The Dunhill stuff, the Dunhill Estupendo, that was a phenomenal cigar on there. And I can say that all the Davidoff stuff that he gave me was not good. All that stuff was not that good. And what else? Oh, the Punch Monarcas. That cigar, if you ever have a chance to smoke any Punch Monarcas, that's a really good cigar. I'm not a big fan of Punch, but the Punch Monarca, I really like that cigar a lot. Those are some standouts that I can think of off the top of my head. There's a lot of other ones too, but I think those stand out the most in my mind. Thanks. The 4K is going to 4K has kind of changed things, made it, I think, hopefully better moving forward with 4K. I'm still trying to work on my cinematography, so to speak. It's not, I didn't grow up being a cinematographer, so I'm trying to learn all this stuff and make it to where it's better. So hopefully moving forward, a lot of this stuff is going to get better, and we'll see. But at least it's out there long after I'm gone. So there's going to be some kind of a point of reference. Yeah, okay. It's about an hour and a half for this cigar. You can see a great construction on this cigar, though. I mean, it's smoking great. Yeah, it is about lighting. I discovered that. It's about lighting. Yeah, the Monarch. Yeah, the Tubos are like phenomenal, man. They are just. That's a great cigar. It really is. Love that cigar. Well, I think I'm only going to smoke one cigar today. I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so you know. Yeah, lighting, it's like weird how you can do that. Like, you got the warm light and the bright light and everything like that, and it's freaking crazy how lighting does that. I learned about golden hour with making photographs and stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy how much there is to it. And I'm using mirrorless now. I went to a mirrorless camera as opposed to having the mirror in there. So had to get some new lenses, and the lens stuff with the mirrorless is different. But hopefully it's going to be good. I don't know. What do you use? Are you like a Nikon guy? Are you a Canon guy? Fuji guy? What brand do you use, Paul? Hasselblad. Okay. Being a non-photographer guy, I know that's like some kind of a German. Oh, Swedish. It's Swedish. Oh, yeah, I forgot Sony. Yeah, I forgot Sony. Yeah, because I was doing some, I've been watching some, like film guys. They would talk about that, and they were talking about the Sony stuff and everything like that. I just found that the Canon is a lot easier for me to use because I can. Well, they just did a thing where you can download and install on your computer, where it can hook in as a USB webcam. So I can use it as a webcam, I can use it as a camera, and then I can also use it as a video camera. The only problem is the 4K has a tendency to heat up the body of the camera, and it'll shut off after so much time filming in 4K. That's the issue that I've had right now with the Canon camera that I have now. Yeah, I was looking at some of the prices on that, like $14,000 for a Hasselblad H6D 50C medium. It looks like it's some kind of a video camera. Oh no, it's a DSLR. Yeah. Yeah. That's out of my budget. Definitely. Try and do the best I can with what I got. Well, anyway, got a little bit more to go on this cigar, and then I think I'm gonna be done. It's almost noon here, and I got to run a few errands and everything like that. But I figured I would come on a little earlier so that people in other parts of the world, other than the United States, would get a chance to chat. So, anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to a guy that photographs coins, and he does it with, he was doing it with this, like, little tiny all-in-one kind of camera, and to your point, he had the lighting, you know, he sets up the lighting just perfectly on that thing to where you can see all of the details on a coin. All right, Paul. We will talk to you. All right, guys, gals, whoever. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now, and I hope the rest of your day and your night is going to be good. And with that, I've rambled on enough, and that's enough out of me.